Hey everybody, today's video I'm going to do a CGC unboxing. I just received this a little while ago, and this is from the Brian Michael Bendis Mark Bagley signing. But this is a little bit different. See, I already know that this comic is not a 9.8, and like many people whom I've seen online, as soon as I saw that in the grader's notes, I said, hold on a second, this can't be right. But then I got to thinking, what if this is right? Stay tuned, see what happens next. Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube land. It is your good buddy Philtastic Phil here. I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. So right off the bat, you'll see that we're not in the comic book room today. I'm up in my living room. I'm off from work this week, so I decided to give my wife a little rest. She's resting inside. We had an early day. My little boy is sleeping. He's taking a nap. I've got the monitor right here, so I'm pulling dad duty. So if you hear little cries or whatnot, you'll know that that's what it is. And I'm sporting, of course, my first Father's Day gift, a very cool t-shirt the little guy gave me. Oh, I just realized I don't have my hat on. Hold on, give me one moment. Okay, now we can start. And yeah, I know I need a haircut. Anyway, just like I said in the introduction, I've got a CGC unboxing. I'm going to do a little bit later on in the video. But I looked at the grader's notes before I got this, and I know that it's not a 9.8. And just like I said, at first my reaction was, this can't be. These people don't know what they're doing. They're obviously wrong. And then I thought about it a little bit more. I'm like, what if they're not wrong? And it got me really thinking. I know that CGC has come under a lot of fire recently for removing a lot of the notes from the tops of the comics here. It's something that we've talked about a lot on the live stream, which, by the way, every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can go back and watch the replays that I've got, or tune in this Saturday, even better. So I know as a result of them taking away those graders notes, unless you're a member, of course, a lot of people have kind of, for lack of a better term, devalued CGC, meaning they don't necessarily think that it's worth the money to put out to grade a book with CGC at this point in time. Whether they're correct or not is not the point of me bringing it up here at all. It got me thinking, are there steps that CGC can take today to help build value with minimal impacts to the client, and maybe look, it'll bring some money to CGC. At the end of the day, they're a company like anybody else, a for-profit company, not a charity. And if they can bring more money in, why not? And again, these are suggestions that I just kind of thought of. It's not. I'm not in a position to officially say to CGC, "Hey, you guys got to do this." But just a couple thoughts I have. Now, I know that in the past, I've heard a lot of collectors and channels alike suggest that CGC go to like an automative or AI kind of grading. And while that certainly sounds cool, I don't think that would necessarily solve the issue of people thinking that they're not getting the right grades, or that their comics are not being graded properly. And look, let's face it, computer errors happen. How many times have you gotten to McDonald's and the ice cream machine is broken? Okay? And really, whenever I hear of AI grading, my first thought is isn't this like the first step to Skynet? Are the Terminator robots going to start popping out of CGC headquarters now and take us over? Maybe they'll encapsulate rather. Who knows? But I think that they can do without that, because let's face it, to build a computer program, even an AI program from the ground up, is most likely a costly venture, even if you have an Ultron, I guess, on your side. But I think one thing that they might be able to do, and would certainly benefit, I think, me as a consumer, and them monetarily, is for an extra fee, probably like $25, maybe even $40 or so, just to make it worth their while, is to offer a service where you can actually have the grader record the process of grading. So, and again, I say for an extra fee because, yeah, this is most likely going to slow down submission time. That being said, if they could make money while doing it and kind of bolster a little bit of good PR, why not? Basically, the grader would record the entire process of grading. and he or she, I should say, would sit and say, okay, you get this number of points off for that, this number of points off for that, and this is why this is not a 9.8, this is why it's a 9.0 or an 8.5. I like that idea. Not only do you have something to go by, so you can say this, that, and the other, this is why it's not equaling up, but it can also educate you. And coming from a customer service background, I think that any opportunity I've had in the past to help educate my clients without telling them, hey, now you're doing my job, it is well worth it. CGC can also partner with other apps or other companies, I think, that may help bolster revenue and might actually help build value in terms of how customers view your service. CGC has a lot of celebrity signings. Today they just announced Amelia Clark and Kit Harington, for example, and there is an app out there right now called Cameo. If you're not familiar with it, for a nominal fee, it could be anything from, I've seen them as low as $10 to as much as I think $1,000. You can essentially hire one of your favorite celebrities. It could be somebody from film, from TV, reality TV, musicians. I've even seen YouTubers on this. And they would give you a personalized message either for you or for a loved one. And I could tell you a couple years ago at the beginning of the pandemic, for our wedding anniversary, I purchased a Cameo for my wife from one of our favorite couples on 90 Day Fiancé, a show that we most of the time enjoy watching, David and Annie. And I have to say they did a great job. It was a great, great little surprise gift. And it's something that we both have saved in our phones. And I think I have it on my iPad too, just to look back to every now and then. It was a great little treat. Now, CGC does have a lot of celebrity or comic book creator celebrity signings, I guess you could say. Just today, they announced Kit Harington and Amelia Clark. And earlier this week, they announced Larry Hama. Now, not to say that you would do this necessarily with every single signing, but maybe some of these bigger signings, CGC, in conjunction with Cameo, for a fee, can offer to record when your book is getting signed and have the celebrity or the person signing it do a personalized greeting for you. Again, I could easily see an extra fee on this, maybe at least $50 or so, depending on the celebrity, because it is going to slow down the signature process, and it's probably something they'd have to limit, I would imagine, to a few different slots, kind of like remarks. But in the end, if it's something that they could make more money from, and it's something that your customers appreciate more to the point where, oh, okay, now we want to send our submissions to CGC because they're the only one offering this, or I can get this little bit of an extra, why not? Not all of the suggestions I have for CGC are necessarily something that they have to, or that they should, at least in my opinion, charge for. Right now, CGC does have somewhat of a YouTube presence. If you look at their YouTube channel, they have videos on things like how to make window bags, which usually result in them saying, oh, you can buy them from us. Or just kind of like highlights from different kind of signings and whatnot. My idea, why don't they have a tutorial on grading? Take the time to educate your client, because it is something that, at least to the layman from my perspective, can be a little daunting. To be honest with you, the few tips about grading I've picked up have been from watching Alan from Climbing Comics, who used to have this segment where he would take a look at one of his comics, compare it with, I think, an Overstreet guide, make his guess, write it down on a piece of paper, and then whenever it came back from CGC, he'd compare and see how well he did. And towards the end of that series, I don't think I've seen one pop up in a while, it could be wrong, but towards the end of that series, he was actually getting pretty accurate with it, at least in my opinion. All I'm saying is take the extra time, CGC, make a couple videos on grading, and maybe that can go a little bit, maybe that could go a long way, rather a little bit can go a long way in educating your client and maybe cutting down on these people who say, well, they don't know what they're talking about. The final suggestion I have for CGC on either new technologies or new steps that they can do to help build value with their existing client base and maybe even get a couple new clients is, to be honest with you, something I was kind of shocked that they don't have currently, and that is a dedicated CGC app for your smartphone. I mean, think about the possibilities with this. You can use your CGC app to check on your CGC registry, add and delete comics, maybe a step-by-step guide to help you through the submission process, something to help track your submission. Really, the possibilities are endless, even just little kind of informational things. I mean, look, I don't know how long it takes to develop an app, or a good app at least, or how expensive it is, but really it's 2022, we're halfway through the year. and I'm just surprised that they don't have this already. Okay, this is my favorite part of the video. I'm interrupting myself because it's my video and I could do that, to present to you the Philtastic Friends for this video. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, I'm going to give you a key phrase in a few moments. After you watch this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And in that comment, you're going to include a hashtag, which I'll present to you again in a few minutes. And if you present that hashtag and that keyword on the next video that I do, or the next week's video, I should say, I am going to give you a shout out. And in fact, I'm also considering maybe starting in July doing a monthly giveaway with these hashtags. I haven't really thought about it too much yet. Granted, if I do this, it's not going to be a huge item, more, that you're going to get from it. You're not going to get a key like you'll see in a few moments, but we'll work it out. Without further ado, and I should add, by the way, all of these channels, most of them I've mentioned in the past, all of these channels I follow and check out their content, and I highly encourage you to do that as well, because these are great people and they've taken the time to comment and put together some really great videos themselves that I think it'd be a shame if you miss. And those videos for this week are Neil's Comics and Video Games, J80 Hobbies, Brian LCS, Diamond Princess, and our newcomer, Wahoo Comics. So again, go ahead and check out their channels, like their videos, and give them a subscription. Now, for this video, if you'd like a shout out next week, you're going to go ahead and comment hashtag yellow label. Again, hashtag yellow label. Put that in your comment. It doesn't matter how long or how short your comment is, and you'll get a shout out in the next video. All right, so let's get back to this video. Okay, so I just checked. The little guy is still sleeping. My wife is still napping. I'm not speaking too loudly, so I didn't wake her up, thankfully. So I think it's time for us to do the unboxing. Let me go ahead and crank this open. As I said, this is not a 9.8. And the grader's notes had said that there was a tape mark, I believe, or there was some sort of damage from tape on the cover of the comic. I certainly don't recall that. I don't know if it's something that may have happened after I did the window bag, but I guess we'll be able to see as soon as I get this open. And I know if any of my old Boy Scout or Cub Scout leaders are watching, I know that I'm not practicing knife safety right now, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. Okay, here we go. Had to give it a little bit of help there. Okay, bubble wrap. And as I said, this was part of the Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Bagley signing. I guess it's technically my first official signing submission. As you know, the George Perez signing didn't happen, so I didn't get a yellow label with that. I did get the little George Perez thing, but this is different. I actually had it graded, signed by both, and I had requested a remark. I left that up to Bagley's discretion, and I'm gonna just remove this from the bag so we avoid the glare. I'm just gonna admire it myself just for a moment. Signed and sketched on 320, a 9.0 with white pages, Ultimate Fallout number 4. And if you look closely, I know I'm getting the reflection from my phone. I'm going to attempt to get, you can see right there, the Spidey remark. And this is the first and only remark I have in my collection. I'm trying to get that better here because it's focusing on my face, I see. But, and like I said, when I saw 9.0 at first, my mouth dropped. I do see a little bit, yeah, you know what, I do see a little bit of damage on this, right? I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up right now. If it doesn't come out clear, I'll take a picture and just kind of focus it on, but you do see a little bit of, I guess, damage, and yes, from tape right here. I'm assuming it's from tape at least. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when I saw that it wasn't a 9.8, it was 9.0, I was pissed. I'm not going to lie to you. And again, my first thought was, how dare they? Oh, I guess I also had the Miles thing here too. I didn't. I had forgotten about that. Um, yeah, I mean, at first, as I was saying, I was like, how can this not be a 9.8? And now I do understand it. But all in all, I mean, a 9.0 is nothing to sneeze at. This is something I bought off the rack when it came out for $3.99 plus whatever the federales charged at the time. Um, so really, for investment wise, although as you may know, I'm not a flipper, not somebody who actively sells my comics, you still can't go wrong with that. And at the end of the day, again, it's a nice remark, a great signature, and a great addition to my collection. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. I'm hoping to do at least one more video from my living room because I have an idea for a video, but I need my wife's help with it. And yes, I'm mentioning this as a way to guilt her a little bit. And by the way, when you're making your remarks, if you give her a little bit of encouragement, maybe that might help. Just saying. But with that, I want to wish you a happy day, a happy evening, and wish that you have a great week. Thanks again for watching. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.